So the third installment of the Deus Ex series is finally here. And now to the question that's on everybody's mind. Was it worth the wait? There's only one word in the English language to describe it. Yes. This game was totally worth the wait. It seems like Eidos went ahead and achieved every goal that they set themselves out to do, which is to achieve the same great gameplay that the original Deus Ex had pioneered back in the year 2000. After playing through Deus Ex Human Revolution and realizing that most of the gameplay aspects are the same thing from the original Deus Ex game, makes you realize how far ahead the game really was back then. The problem for the original game was, back then, PC shooters were at their height, and all games were trying to emulate Half-Life. And unfortunately, at that time, Deus Ex was so far ahead that most people didn't even know how to play it. It was such a new type of gameplay, a shooter that was also an RPG. Nowadays, we have games like Fallout 3, we have Mass Effect, we have a myriad of other games that really capitalize on the same aspects that the original Deus Ex did 11 years ago. So that makes the game a lot more approachable for new players. However, if you're one of the fans of the original game, you're going to pick this one right up and just go, and you're going to be able to run with it. A few of the things you'll notice right off the bat are the way the game's laid out, the graphic style, especially the audio style. It's very reminiscent of the original game. Obviously, it's more modernized and everything looks a lot nicer. But the same feel and atmosphere of the game is exactly the same as it was back then 11 years ago. That's what really propelled this series. Unfortunately, once Deus Ex became a cult classic and had its own following, Eidos tried with Invisible War, which came out in 2003, to try and make it more approachable for everybody, because even then, in 2003, the gaming culture hadn't caught up with how far advanced the original Deus Ex game was. That's where they faltered. They tried to reinvent the wheel that was so perfect. Human Revolution does not do that. They take all the aspects that were great. You have a myriad of ways to approach a mission. You can do it stealthily, you can do it through combat, you can do combinations of it, you could do it where you only use a certain weapon. You could basically do any of the missions any way that you want. There's about 10 different entry points for most of them to get in there. It's crazy how much stuff you can do in this game. If you played this game 5 times through and tried to play them each differently, you absolutely could. Since obviously this is a story-driven game, the fact that you can go through the game over and over again and have different outcomes allows for replayability, as obviously there is no multiplayer. One of the biggest things that they revamped in this game is the combat. The combat system in this game is far more modernized. It's just like any other game that you would play nowadays. You can shoot from the hip, you can shoot from cover, you can shoot down iron sights. Just whichever way you want to go ahead and take some guys down, that's on you. You also have the grapple ability, where you go ahead and take down enemies. You can take them down and keep them alive if you want to be merciful, or you can go ahead and slaughter them. It's up to you. Heck, you can even get an augment to go ahead and punch through walls and rip people right through it. I could sit here all day and go over the different ways that you can approach a situation and neutralize enemies. Trust me, that would take forever. But the fact that you have all these options is what makes this game so great. The upgrading system in this game, which is obviously the augmenting system, is different than in the other games. You go ahead and you can purchase upgrades using praxis kits, or make upgrades by getting praxis kits, which you get by earning experience points. You can also go ahead and buy them, or you can find them laying around the world. And what you can do is you can basically customize your character and give them abilities that help enhance the way that you like to play the game. You can go ahead and make them an expert hacker. I'm going to have to recommend that route. That allows you to do a lot of things in this game that you're not going to be able to do otherwise. You can go ahead and make it so he can shoot a missile out of his chest, like a little rocket launcher. If you want to go more combat style, you do have a cloak system, a lot like you have in Crysis 2 there. So you can just sneak right by guys and you can go stealthily. There's just so much cool stuff that you can do to upgrade your character in this game. So you can tailor your own experience and go ahead and approach a situation how you want to. Usually I would keep a couple praxis kits available So if I wanted to do something in a mission, that's specific, I can go ahead and just upgrade my guy on the spot, and then poof, I'll be able to do whatever it is that I need him to do. One of the coolest augments is the parachute type augment, which allows you to fall from any height and not take damage. So at first I just thought he would just jump to the ground and okay, he just doesn't take damage. Every time you do it, actually a really cool animation pops up and he generates an energy field that protects him and lowers him down slowly. There are several different things in this game that initiate little cutscenes like that, and they're really cool, and they add to the high production values of this game. I don't want to ruin the story for anybody, but the story in the game is pretty predictable. I'm not going to lie, it's good, but you're going to be able to figure it out pretty quickly if you read the memos and you're really paying attention. You'll pretty much know what's going to happen. However, the game does such a good job of presenting it to you, you don't really care. You still want to see how the game progresses. You want to see how it all unfolds. Even though you're pretty sure you know what's going to happen, it does a very good job of making you want to know what happens next. Overall, I have to say Eidos did probably exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to recapture the glory of the original Deus Ex game. They didn't try to reinvent anything. They took what worked, kept it, just tweaked a few things, and then threw in a modern combat system. And that's all this game needed. That and a little facelift. Poof, done. That's what Deus Ex Human Revolution is. It's a modern day version of the original game. Obviously the story is less compelling, but you can forgive that because I don't think anything matches the greatness of the original game's story. But they do a good job presenting it to you and keep you engaged throughout. Overall, I can recommend this game to anybody who liked the original Deus Ex game. Hands down, you're going to love this one. If you're a fan of Mass Effect or Fallout 3 and games like that, you're going to absolutely love this game too. If you're into shooters where you want to go ahead and go online and play with your friends and, shoot people for 5-10 minutes here and there, this is not going to be the game for you. There is no multiplayer. It's not competitive like that. This is a story-driven game as it's supposed to be. And overall, they did a fantastic job doing it and delivering a good 30 to 40 hour experience depending on how you want to go ahead and play the game. Alright guys, if you want to check out the full detailed review, go to gamersarmada.com and check out my written review.